Constitution. We don't believe in what RSS says. And if you compare this to the time when there were a lot of heated talks were going on when this entire controversy over temple construction in Varanasi was going. And when they went on, Mohan Bhagwat came out with a statement saying that it will be wrong to look for shiveling in every mosque, and that created a lot of furor. For the first time, at least in my living memory, I saw the Sarsang Chalak being attacked so viciously, so vitriolically. So it's very clear that off late, whatever Mohan Bhagwat says makes news, and much to the discomfiture of the BJP. Even this statement, though, a correction has come forward in which he is saying that people misunderstood what Mohan Bhagwat said, and basically he said that all that matters is how you are able to do a task, and doesn't matter whether you are born in that particular thing, and the entire Varna Vyavastha was created by Pandits following something. But one thing is very clear, that there's the meeting of minds, if I may say so, Kartike, which goes on over what Mohan Bhagwat says and the political fortune of the Congress, of the BJP. It's not aligning, the stars are not aligning, and it's very clear in the last year or so.
But my point of view is that perhaps Mohan Bhagwat is the poster boy of Bharatiya Janata Party. I'll take a contrarian view. I feel that Mohan Bhagwat, unlike Atal Bihari Vajpayee, or Narendra Modi, unlike Atal Bihari Vajpayee, has no competition. When Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, you had a lot of people in RSS who, in a Hindi word, we can say, were samkakshis, or people who had grown with Vajpayee. Now, in context of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the difference is that you can't say that Bhagwat is senior to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Yes, he is senior in terms of organization, the sort of work which RSS does, but that the seniority element does not come into play. And I think the second thing is, Prime Minister Modi has implemented all the agenda of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. I think only agenda which needs to be resolved now is UCC, which state governments are doing by circumventing the central law, or it's alleged that they are circumventing the central law. So my understanding of Mohan Bhagwat is that he is trying to open up. You would know that it was only Balasaheb Devras in 80s that RSS, an organization like RSS, had appointed a spokesperson after 50 years. So, they had no concept of spokesperson. So, my understanding is, I think there's a repetition which RSS is doing, but people are surprised, Brijesh, because for them, it's for the first time. The churning which used to be there was not part of people's consumption, like Congress Party or Janata Dal, or the way even Jan Sangh functioned under Advani and Vajpayee, which was far more open. But RSS continued to be very, very close. So people are surprised by everything which they say, but it has been discussed for a long time. And yes, you have a point that maybe Bhagwat gets his timing wrong, but the content of it has been there.
So most of the time, see, you have to also understand that you cannot compare Vajpayee era to Modi era. This is what I feel, is that because Vajpayee era, the government was not in absolute majority. So they're dependent on 50 other parties which had their own share of ideologies, which had their own agenda. And this is the reason why Vajpayee was not able to implement or impose his will completely, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi is able to do, because he has an absolute majority. One other thing is that, in 2018, you said RSS for the first time made an effort to reach out to the Western world as well. You remember that 15 to 20 ambassadors of several countries would come and assemble and talk to Mohan Bhagwat and to very senior leadership of RSS in order to gauge and understand as to what exactly this organization is all about, which many people say that, it has a hold over the ruling party, and this made them mysterious. His statement on Muslims are not for the first time. RSS is saying that it is not for the first time that RSS is saying that we should live in a casteless society where your work should be your religion rather than the religion you are born in. But the fact is that a lot of political churning has taken place also. Now the right-wing cadre, which has been so assiduously created over a period of time, is not something which is going to take this balancing or this kind of statement from you that cannot go on looking for shivlings inside East Masjid. Given the choice, they would do so, and this is where the schism is coming out to the fore, which BJP is also finding it very difficult to deal with, because on one side is Mohan Bhagwat, the other side is the committed cadre which votes for them, which go out in the field, fan out support for them, and get people to vote for them.
I agree with you. you. 80% of the points you made, but 20% I would say that my difference with you is, I won't use the word cadre. I think the biggest concern of RSS and BJP is that the growth which has happened during Modi, the cadre has expanded beyond control. If you look at the beginnings of RSS, or if you look at Bharatiya Janata Party in 80s, it was cadre control. And the cadre control meant that once the instruction is given, you don't think about the instruction, you execute the instruction. Now what has happened after 2014, you have a lot of people from civil society who feel that they owe the right-wing ideology. They are not trained by RSS, they have not done Pratham Varsh, Dvitiya Varsh, Tritiya Varsh, they have not come from ABVP like Arun Jaitley, Dattatreya Hosbole, they are all ABVP people. So electoral, organizational training has not placed. The first training they have got it is in the TV studios or the YouTube studios. That's what they feel is the training. Now, when you very rightly pointed out when he said that Har Masjid ke niche aap Shivling mat ghumiye, I think it represents an anxiety within RSS that someone else should not run away with their agenda. I think that's the biggest point. And when he talks, in context of caste, I would say that it's a myth when people say that Hindutva is beyond caste. Hindutva has its caste alignment state by state. The first Hindutva leaders of Bharatiya Janata Party were all OBCs. It was built on certain caste alignment. Kalyan Singh was a Lodh leader, as opposed to a dominant peasantry Yadav. And Lodhs held the flag of Hindutva. So Hindutva in a way has subsumed a part of Mandal politics, not social justice, but politics of amalgamation in which Roti Beti becomes part of it. So what Bhagwat is doing is frequent interaction of RSS, so people don't think that RSS is an exotic animal in a political system. I think the anxiety is that Bhagwat feels that the people think that they're trying to run the government, whereas people in the RSS that we just don't run the government.
But you know, Karthikeya, this is exactly where the duplicity also comes in. You know, that RSS says and RSS pretends that, you know, that we are not part of the government, we are a cultural organization. But RSS never hesitated to send its own, pracharaks and people in very high position, in nuts and bolts position in the BJP. The second part is, as one Maulana very rightly said, that, you know, that you say that we all share the same DNA. You know, Hindu Muslims share the same DNA, and this is something which Bhagwat has said for a very long time. I mean, RSS and all top leadership of RSS, due credit to them, have said. But when it comes to implementation on the ground, you know, the VHPs and the others, the operational nuts and bolts, like, you know, if you say the RSS is the mind, the operational, they have a completely different agenda. So they say, like, you know, either you, if you, like, it's like walking the talk. You're not walking the talk. You're only talking. But the walking is being done by VHP, Bajrang Dal, which are your another subsidiaries, which are not letting you, or at least they're embarrassing you with what you're saying.
So I think the biggest takeaway of our gap, and the one we are doing on the Bhagwat Gyan is that RSS is making attempt repeatedly to open itself. It is addressing those issues which are very, very fundamental to itself. But then our electoral politics and the media narrative is so frayed that one thing can be taken out of the larger picture and politicized. I think that's the I would say problem of being in politics. Yes, I agree. It has become both cultural and political organization. But in end, Mohan Bhagwat matters. Thank you, Brajesh, for joining me on The Gap.